John, don't believe whatever you see, okay? This thing right here is not real, okay? Let's get ready. Let's go.
My son used to be very active on something called Discord, which, from what I understand, is a messaging app for people who play video games.
Yes. Let's see.
It allowed him to talk to people from all over the world that play the same games as him.
Okay.
So at some point, he broke the news to us that he'd been talking to a girl over in the UK named Lori. She and he had become friends, playing some sort of pirate game, playing together most days and talking pretty much all the time when they weren't at their computers.
Okay.
And eventually, he just up and...
Wait, what does he mean by that? Wait, why does the kid have this type of weird-ass poster? Does he mean that all niggas on Discord have weird posters? Wait, what does he mean by this?
Asked her if she wanted to be his girlfriend.
My poster is not even that bad. Let's be honest, my poster is not even that bad. Okay, right now it kind of looks weird because I'm leaning forward, but originally my thing is not weird, Adrian. Like, don't believe anything you see right here, bro. I don't have a weird poster, I promise. Not everybody from Discord have a weird poster.
She says yes. It was definitely a new concept for someone like me who grew up at a time when cell phones weren't even a thing, but I understand that we live in the digital age where new methods of dating are coming to the fore, so I just tried
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not really good. Yeah, it depends, honestly.
Be happy for him, as any mom should when their kid gets their first girlfriend or boyfriend. Plus, with an entire ocean between them, it's...
Holy chop, she chopped, bro. She chopped as fuck, and he's also chopped, Adrian. Am I right?
It's not like I have to worry about them getting accidentally pregnant or something. However, one Sunday afternoon, my son emerges from his boy cave for what seemed like the first time in days.
No, Adrian, no.
Walks into the TV room where me and my husband are sat,
good.
with a very concerned
I know what
look
you're
on his
looking
face.
at. Nope.
We asked him what the matter was,
I agree.
and he just kind of shrugs, tells us everything is cool, and then just kind of wanders out again. So as you can imagine, me and my husband give each other a look as if to be like, what was that about? My husband gets up, follows our son into the living room before gently prodding him about anything that might be bothering him. From what he told me, our kid was just doing that typical boyish thing of pretending that everything was fine, but in a way that tells us that he's obviously upset about something.
What?
My husband then told me he asked after Lori, with our son responding in almost a visceral way of like,
that fat. I mean, that's an average dad build if you think about it.
You always in my business, blah blah blah. He'd obviously
big,
touched on a sore subject, so our general conclusion was that he and Lori had broken up, and he just didn't want to talk about it. We weren't about to press him on it, so we kind of just left him to it to get over and
they broke up!
But over the next month or so, our son seemed to get increasingly depressed.
Why is he shirtless?
He'd spend more and more time up in his room, only ever coming out to go to school or eat dinner, and then just retreating back to his little boy cave. Like I said, we figured this was because they'd split up with his internet girlfriend, but one time my husband was walking past his room and blatantly heard him talking to someone via his little voice chat Discord thing, addressing them as babe
Adrian,
at one point, Lori.
That's unpolite.
So apparently they're still talking at that point, but we still assume that they were having relationship issues, putting it down to the fact that they were like thousands of miles apart. I know long-distance relationships don't work at the best of times, even when people were just a few states away from each other. But these kids had an entire ocean separating them, so God knows how hard that must have been on them.
Nope. You gotta be a man.
We came to learn.
You gotta be a man, Adrian. You gotta be a man, Adrian. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You gotta be a man. Nope.
So as I said, our son seemed to be getting more and more depressed over the course of the month. And it got so bad that at one point that me and my husband discussed getting him a therapist.
I know that you do. I'm pretty sure that you do.
To nip the problem in the bud before it could.
Not even real. Don't even look at real, bro. That's the best thing you do.
But suddenly, out of apparently nowhere, he just perks up. One day he's looking better, feeling perkier, and is considerably more talkative. He actually seemed keener on spending more time with us too, which for a 16-year-old.
Fuck, bro, that was not cool. I know what Adrian's looking at. That's why I'm doing that shit.
Old boy struck us as very unusual. I mean,
wait, what do you think happened? We agreed to have guests, bro. I did not agree that I'm gonna have guests.
That we were complaining. It was nice seeing him feeling better about things, and we put it down to him meeting a new girl or just shutting out Lori from his life. This kind of
please shut her, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Shut everyone from your life. You're not gonna get anybody.
Behavior carries on for like a week or so until one Saturday, when after coming down for breakfast, we don't see or hear from him for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah,
Late in the
please.
afternoon, my husband goes up into his room,
Oh, yeah.
knocks on the door, and asks our son if everything is okay. He comes back down into the TV room, tells me there was no reply after knocking,
Why this nigga did not break the door?
then asks me
Say
if
what?
I'd seen him leave the house at all during the day.
Oh yeah,
I tell
please
him
tell me
no,
that he's lost.
that
Please
if
tell
he
me
had
he's
gone
lost.
over to a friend's house or whatever, that he certainly hadn't let me know. Then my husband just kind of shrugs, tells me he has a headache, then walks off to the downstairs bathroom to get an aspirin from the medicine cabinet. Next thing I know, I can hear him springing down the hallway and up the stairs, his feet like boom, boom, boom as he rushed up to our son's room. I'm super confused, like, what's going on?
Okay, I
Before
will.
walking out into the hallway. From where I'm standing, I can actually see into the downstairs
Whoa!
bathroom. What I see makes my blood run
Nigga
cold.
popping some pills!
We usually kept all our pain pills and other such medication in a
pain
little
pills.
plastic
Shit.
first aid kit style
Wait,
thing.
so did he
We
take
kept the
all of
thing
them?
stuffed to the gills. And there it was,
Whoa,
lying on the
John,
bathroom
whoa.
floor, almost completely empty. Then, like my husband before me, it hit me what had happened. So I sprint up to my son's room where I find my husband leaning over our boy's bed, shaking him like, "Wake up,
Yo,
can you
what?
hear me? Wake up." There's a pool of puke sitting on the bed next to his head and he's completely unconscious.
The fuck?
And there are empty pill trays lying on the floor nearby. As
Wait,
soon
why?
as I walk in, my husband runs back downstairs to call 911, and I take over the shaking and the wailing, begging him to open his eyes. Now, the only light in the room was
What is
coming from his
BLE?
computer monitors, so at one point
Oh yeah,
I
where's that?
look over to
Oh
it
yeah, where's that the screen?
and see one of the most haunting things I've ever seen in my life.
Is it the girl?
On the screen is a webcam window from the Discord thing I mentioned, and it displays the body of a young girl that's just kind of dangling in midair. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at, but when I did, I almost screamed the house down. She was hanging from something.
Was it that girl?
I tried not to look, I really did. I just tried to focus on my boy as his dad ran back upstairs with emergency
Yo, why is he
services
running
on
like
his side.
that?
I should have told
Yo,
him
wait,
not to
what
look,
happened?
but I was just distraught.
I mean,
could
GG's, he's
barely
dead.
speak as he walks back into the room and starts describing our son's condition to the dispatcher on the other end of the line. He's frantically talking away when he does pretty much the same thing as me. Turns around to see the webcam window open and the girl's body hanging on the screen. He just froze.
What if the parents of the girl come in and then the both parents just like talk to each other? Yo, what did your son do to my daughter? Yo, what did your daughter do to my son? Blah, blah, blah. And it's a whole argument.
Long enough for me to be able to hear the dispatcher say, "Sir, are you there, sir?" At which point he snaps out of his daze and carries on talking to the person on the other end. It was he that then had the same presence of mind to turn off the computer, all the while giving the EMTs their home address and begging them to arrive as quickly as possible. Our son was taken to the
Yeah,
hospital.
he's done.
where he
He's done.
promptly
Yeah, I'm
has
so
his
sorry to
stomach
say that,
pumped.
but he's done.
We stayed all night, waiting in the visitors area, and when a doctor finally approached us with an update on our son's condition,
Okay.
I found my heart racing as I prepared for the worst.
What?
But thankfully, we'd gotten him to the hospital just in time, and the nurses were able to pump his stomach and administer the necessary medication to counteract the effects of the things he'd taken already. He survived. Barely, but
Barely?
the same couldn't be said for the girl on the computer screen, who we assumed was this
She's
lonely
done.
girl he'd been in the long-distance relationship with. When our son woke up and saw us in the hospital room, he burst into tears. He apologized over and over again, and we all just cried it
Why
out
are you
together.
dancing?
He then
Fuck?
proceeded to spill his guts to us about what had happened,
Yeah, what happened?
and I honestly couldn't believe my ears. It turned out that they'd formed a kind of pact together just the week before, right around the same time he seemed to have perked up.
He
and gotten
alive.
out of
Yeah,
the funk he was in.
oh. I thought about something else.
Apparently,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That was what did it.
What?
That she and he had figured out a way to escape the pain they were suffering, and that the revelation had been some kind of boost to him, as morbidly insane as that sounds. We went ahead with booking him into therapy, and he's doing much, much better now. We don't monitor his online activities, as he figured he'd just find a way to subvert us, but
What's he
we
doing?
definitely don't allow him to have a computer in his bedroom anymore.
Yo.
And since then,
Whoa, what did I do?
me and my husband have made an effort to acquaint ourselves with the darker corners of the internet, and believe me, there are some days I wish I hadn't. Because my God, are there some horrendous things out there. things I wish I'd never seen, and that I'll never be able
What?
to get out of my head. I used to play a lot of
Damn, the first story
Insurgency
is finished.
Sandstorm
Holy
with a
fuck.
fixed set of
That was a bit fast, I'm not gonna lie.
guys and a few girls, and we used to organize using a Discord server.
Okay.
People came and went as time went by, but there were a couple of us that actually stayed in touch quite frequently outside of just organizing gaming sessions.
Nope. It's not the solution. Let's be honest, Adrian. It's not the solution. And I do not condone these type of stuff. I will never condone it. It's not, by the way, I swear.
And became
You'll
pretty
get
good
yourself into some more fucked up stuff, and think about your parents. How will your parents and your friends and closer friends react if that thing happened to you? Yep. It's not the
friends.
solution.
Insurgency, for those that haven't played it, is
Okay,
one of
okay,
those
later. Just in
hyper-realistic
a minute. Wait,
military
I'm watching the
shooters
video
that
now.
tends to
Wait.
get really, really intense, and occasionally downright terrifying when it's at its best. I'm not saying we had this proper Band of Brothers vibe going. I know it's only a video game, but like I said, a handful of us ended up being pretty good friends and bonding.
Yeah,
over
this
the
one looks like a
intense level
Discord
of
mod.
teamwork
I'm not gonna. This
required
one
to
looks like
win
a Discord
rounds.
mod.
Not to mention the sweaty palm.
I mean, also the one
adrenaline-fueled
before him,
firefights.
because you know the
One
poster.
of these was.
But okay,
Latin
what
Colin.
do you think this guy right here looks like a
One day,
Discord mod? What
Colin
is the
tells
reason?
us that he wouldn't be playing Insurgency for a little while because
Whoa,
he had
why?
taken a job teaching English as a foreign language out in
Job,
Indonesia.
slur word.
He had wanted to do some traveling for a while, but just didn't have the money available to him, and getting qualified to teach English gave him an opportunity to see
Okay, I
some
said
more
that. Well,
exotic
just
areas
wait.
of the world
Damn.
whilst getting paid for it.
He
We were
stink.
pretty gutted to hear the news.
Did he smell
He
him?
was one heck of a sniper, and many a time we'd been pinned down by some enemy machine gunner, only for the gunfire to stop suddenly, followed by a little laugh from Colin and a "have that" in his Scottish accent.
Okay,
We
that's a bit
absolutely loved
weird.
him
How
for
did you
moments
smell
like
him?
that,
Whoa.
but we were also really happy for him. And since he promised to stay in the Discord server, we'd be able to keep in touch and hear some stories of his adventures out in the tropics. So a few months go by, and
Wait, is this the main character? And this right here is the second character. This right here is not the second character. Bro, you're so fucking bro.
we're enjoying hearing the stories of his travels, along with being updated with photos of him exploring some pretty remote parts of Indonesia. It was the photos of him with the
Is that supposed to be Indonesia? That does not look like Indonesia,
school
bro.
kids he was teaching. that
No, I
really
told
made
you
me
just
smile,
like,
though.
wait, I'm reacting to the
Looked
video.
like he was having the time
Bro,
of
you're
his
so
life,
like-
especially when we saw some videos of him teaching the kids some pretty obscure
Whoa,
English
whoa, whoa. Oh, English. Oh,
phrases.
oh okay,
Not
okay.
only that, but occasionally we'd hear
Is this supposed to be like an Indonesian kid?
some of the kids actually repeat the phrases back kind of in a Scottish accent, and the idea of a bunch of
Wait,
Indonesian
is he in
kids learning to
Scotland?
speak English with an Edinburgh accent was absolutely hilarious to us. I mean, imagine it. Some American wishing an Indonesia fellow good morning or something, only to hear, "You alright, pal? Who's it good?" In response, it still makes me chuckle, even now, to be honest.
So he's right now in Scotland, not
Then,
Indonesia.
in
Okay.
September of 2018, I woke up to the news that there had been an earthquake in the sea just off the coast of Indonesia, causing an earthquake that had resulted in a massive tsunami that had destroyed huge
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
sections
I
of the
apologize.
country.
I'm so sorry. I'm so
Immediately,
sorry.
I thought of Colin. I jumped onto Discord using the app on my phone and sent him a message asking him if everything was all right.
Well, so is he in?
and hoping
Is he
he'd
in?
not been caught
Okay,
up
so
in the
he's in
tsunami.
Indonesia, but he talked to a Scotland kid. Okay, okay. It's
Obviously,
funny. Am I
there
right,
was a
Adrian?
huge 7 or 8 hour time difference between the UK and Southeast
Holy shit.
Asia,
Holy.
and occasionally Colin didn't reply.
Hiromi Kawakami. The fuck is that username? Anime IDK YAGPDB.XYZ Hamster Dam I don't know. Emily, Emma, Nina, Julia, Sarah, Pocard, Sui, Ronaldo, Sui, what?
For hours.
Like the speed one
So
Sui?
the fact that he didn't immediately reply wasn't
Yo, bro,
a
everything is
massive
good.
concern
Are
to
you
me.
alright?
But he didn't reply all that day, to the point where I started expressing concerns to some of the other lads in the server,
Whoa, GG's.
sharing the news of the tsunami with them and
GG's,
mentioning that I
Adrian,
was
he's done.
worried Colin had been caught up in it. We knew from the news stories about which areas of Indonesia had been affected, but we didn't know exactly where Colin was, only that it was in some remote areas and didn't always have immediate access to Wi-Fi, another reason for us to not immediately worry. But he didn't reply the next day either.
GG's, yeah, he's
or
fucked.
the day after that.
He's fucked, yeah.
And it got to the point where a week had gone by and we'd heard nothing back from him.
Yeah, bro, I don't even know why you still have faith.
No one had seen Colin, even online, since we got news of the tsunami. That's when we really started to worry. And as the days went by, we got more and
Bro,
more.
I'm gonna tell you from now. Today, I don't want to call anybody. I don't want to get on a guest. I don't want to get on a call with anybody. I just want to be like that, please.
Frightened that something had happened to him. It's around then that I started going back through some of the messages he'd been sending over the previous month or so.
Bro, I just want to do whatever I want.
He'd been all over Indonesia,
Like, is there a problem with that?
and had spent his first few weeks in the capital city of Jakarta, which had remained relatively unaffected by the earthquake
I mean,
and
me,
subsequent
I'm having
tsunami.
fun with Adrian, so why would I do something that I'm not going to be having fun at?
But then I found out that he'd traveled to a
We need to watch more. The last couple EDP. Oh, whoa. Are you watching Gideon or Skeeter Gene? Wait, hold on. Should be good tomorrow after 5. Me too. Oh, that's my favorite avatar from the photo shoot. Looks great. Yup. Thank you. Fiona showed up. Well, kind of started later. Okay.
place called
We need on the live, bro. I don't want to have guests, bro. I just want to have fun like that.
Palu to
Why can't
teach
you
English
just
there.
get it?
And as far as I could tell, that's where he'd been at the
Where's
time of
Palu?
the disaster when it struck.
What is Palu even?
I then cross-referenced the name of the place with any stories
I am
about
a
the
pussy.
tsunami,
Yeah, I am a pussy.
and found out that it had been one of the worst affected by a destructive tidal wave that apparently reached 23 feet in height.
Boom.
23
Damn.
feet of rushing water
What is that?
had destroyed
Is
pretty
that
much
like bad
everything in
or
its
is that like
path
is
and
that like
caused
normal?
the deaths of over 15,000 people.
Whoa, wait, is that
In all
real?
likelihood, Colin had been one of them. We were devastated.
Oh,
But the worst part is, even
I
to
told you
this
that he
day,
died.
we still
I
have
told you
not
that he
had
died.
any
Why do you have
closure
faith that
about
he's still alive?
We knew Colin quite well, but he kept his online and personal life pretty
Palu's in
separate.
Indonesia. Oh, okay.
We never knew
I
his
did not know
last
that.
name
I'm
or
really
the
sure when it
names
comes
of
to
any of his
geography.
family,
honestly.
so it's not like we could get in touch with him to find out if he really had died or not, or to see about any funeral arrangements if he had indeed perished during the tsunami.
Wait, isn't that him? Wait, what? Wait. Did he come back to life? Wait, did he come back from dead? What? Wait, is that him?
But I think the fact that even now his Discord account lies inactive is
That's
evidence of the
him!
fact that
Oh,
he did actually lose his
shit.
life out there.
Oh my god.
Maybe he's
no.
okay.
Never mind.
And he just never bothered to get back on Discord.
Never mind.
Of time or something. But I think that's just wishful thinking on my part. In my heart of hearts, I know he's probably dead. I just hope he's at peace now, and whatever family he had are okay. Rest in peace, Colin. We still
That was not a horror story.
miss you.
That was not a horror story, okay? The first one was better. I'm not gonna lie.
So
the
a
first one
few
was better.
years ago, I matched with a girl on Tinder who I ended up
It's always fucking there. Like, god
having
damn.
some serious chemistry with.
Okay.
We go for coffee. Coffee ended up being drinks. Drinks ended up with sparks flying, and then boom. We're in the middle of this whirlwind romance.
Fire.
We're texting all the time whenever we're not just spending days
Well,
at each
phones.
other's
I just hate
apartments,
seeing a loving.
fantasizing
I just
about
hate-
taking
I just
vacations
really hate
together.
seeing two
All the
people
stuff
loving
two
each other.
young
Just swap the
people
phones, please.
do
I want
when
them
they
to
got
break
that
up.
new relationship energy going. But then one day, right when I think things couldn't get any more perfect, she sits me down with the obvious intention of having a pretty serious talk. I figured it was like a breakup type thing, so I braced myself for the worst.
Adrian.
Only it's not quite as bad as I feared.
Adrian.
It was
Nah,
just,
I'm sorry.
well, weird.
Do you use perfume?
She tells
Here
me
you go.
she's poly.
Smell.
At the time, I had no idea what that meant, so I just sort of stared back at her with this confused look on my
So,
face,
do I use perfume?
prompting her to explain that
What do you
poly
think?
is short for polyamorous. For those that aren't entirely savvy with the term, it's basically a fancy word for when someone
I mean, at
practices
home, I don't use perfume. Smells like chicken curry. I'm not even Indian, first of all, and I never ate chicken curry ever in my life. What if you were to say fried chicken? That would make sense, but chicken curry does not even make sense at all.
open relationships. The girl says she can commit to me, but that she'd have to be free to see other people, albeit in a less serious capacity. Being young, dumb, and totally besotted with her, I agreed to it, and it ended up being the worst decision I've
Dumbass,
ever
bro.
made.
Nah, he's so dumb.
I started off by telling
I know
her
you're
she
joking.
could
I know
do
that
what
you're
she
joking.
wanted, but only as long as she didn't tell me about any of it. She agrees to this, but as the weeks went by, I did start to get a little jealous. She sought to remedy this by introducing me to the app that she'd used to find other polyamorous types to hook up with, a little thing called Discord. Now, apparently,
So nigga does not know what Discord
it's primarily
really is.
used for communicating in video games, but I learned that people use Discord for all types of weird stuff, including hookups. The girl tells me I'm welcome to join the server she was a part of and look for someone who was open to
Please, Adrian, do not put these flags right here. I'm begging you. Thank you.
something casual.
How do I delete it?
Fair's fair, I thought, so I did.
Okay, I can't.
I made an account and got her to invite me to a little server that was innocuously called The Farm, despite having absolutely nothing to do with anything remotely
This is suspicious
agricultural.
name, but okay.
So upon joining, the girl introduces me as her partner and gets a few of the members to walk me through all the various channels and such. They were actually pretty nice.
Basically, your girl is a slut. Yeah,
Just say
that. Just say it. Say it.
Polyamory and waxing lyrical about how nice the girl I was seeing was, which, I don't know, kind of warmed me up to the whole idea. I get talking to another girl on there. We vibe a little, but I can't see anything
Whoa, so he's cheating? Yo, is that another girl?
happening with her. I basically just did it to make the girl I was seeing happy, which apparently it really did. I gained myself a lot of brownie points from it. So all is well that ends well, right? Nope.
What?
About a week into being on the Discord server, I get a message from someone at first I assumed was a girl.
Who?
We swap greetings and make a little small talk. Then I get a picture message coming through. It turns out this was not a girl at all.
Is this like an average build for a Discord head mod or what?
It was a dude, and the picture was the only
hell
thing
nah.
I really did not want to see. What exactly it was, I'll leave up to your imagination.
Yo, what was that?
But just imagine the worst possible thing a perverted dude could send you over the internet,
Fuck
and
no, bro.
yeah, you got it. He follows the picture up by saying he wanted to hook up with
Okay, that actually might be one of the weirdest ones until now.
me and my girl at the same time. I just ignore the messages,
Is he
assuming
gay?
the dude is going to get kicked from the server for rule
I was
breaking
expecting
or
to say, yo, I want to
something,
hook with your girl,
and eventually
but
bring it
your
up
guy-
with my girl. She, on the other hand, vouches
yeah.
for this guy, saying she's been talking to him for a while, how he's normally perfectly nice and polite.
Oh yeah, nice and polite. Yeah. Meanwhile, he wants to hook up with you and your boyfriend.
Making a big deal out of
Adrian,
nothing.
don't put that
claiming
sticker.
I'm
Don't put
just
that
being
sticker,
jealous,
please. I'm begging you.
etc.
Don't put these flags.
I tell her I'm super uncomfortable with the idea of a three-way hookup, how I want nothing to do with it, but again, that she's welcome to do whatever she wants, just as long as I don't have to hear
Is this nigga worse than Adam 22?
about it.
I mean, I love Adam
Drama
22,
smoothed over, and I think that's the end of it.
but I do not support his
Only
show.
it's
I forgot
not.
his show
Not
name.
by a
I'm
long
not gonna lie.
shot.
But he gay. Yeah, he is gay.
Cut to like a month later.
Don't
things
put
are
the
still
flag. Don't put the
basically
flag. Just
going
say gay, but don't put the flag. Just say that he's gay, but don't put the flag.
strong with
It'll
the
be
girl.
better.
and
Okay,
I'm out
Adrian.
doing some grocery shopping when I noticed something that catches my eye. It was one of those things that you just don't really pay attention to unless it happens.
Whoa,
Like, it's hard
who's
to
that?
describe.
Yo,
Pretty
who's
much
that?
every single person
Okay, thank
who
you.
walks into a grocery store either grabs a cart or a basket, right?
Okay, yeah.
And people just running in to grab one or two items are in and out in like a minute.
Okay.
So I remember
Right.
seeing this one dude just kind of walking up and down the aisles with nothing in his hands and thinking like, what the heck is this guy doing here? But he's not doing anything too weird. So I just sort of move on.
He will not. He's a grown
Only
man.
time
Nothing will
and time
happen to him.
again, I'm in an aisle grabbing things off of shelves,
Fire.
and I see him just kind of idling, and a few times we make eye contact.
What does he
Nothing too
want?
creepy, just like a casual glance, but this happened over and over again, to the point where I was like, is this dude following me?
He is.
Anyway, I get my shopping done, walk back to my apartment, and forget all about it.
He looks kinda.
A few hours later,
Kinda
I'm
weird.
sitting
Yeah,
in my
I know.
apartment alone, just chilling and nursing some big food baby
Please
from
tell
the
me
local
that.
Chinese place
Please tell me
I got
that.
delivery
Please tell me that
from.
he broke into his house.
I hear
and
footsteps
beat
from the
him up.
stairs outside my apartment.
Whoa.
Heavy ones. Nothing
Oh.
unusual as such, but then the front door to the apartment just goes boom, shaking from some heavy impact on the other side.
Oh, kind.
At
Nah, he
first I
does
thought it
not
was a
look
neighbor
kind.
or something, so
He
I
looks
shot
weird.
like, what are you doing, dude? But there's no reply. Just another loud bang against the door. They're not trying to get my attention. They're trying to break in. And I just about jump out of my skin.
Okay.
Just like instinctively grabbing my phone to dial 911 while I run in my bedroom, kneeling down to the safe under my
The
bed.
fat
which
one.
has
Yeah,
my
he looks
40
nice. This
caliber.
guy, yeah, he looks nice.
I tell the
But the other one
dispatcher
does
what's
not look
going
nice.
on. She then says the cops are on their way, but I have no idea how much time I've got. So I run back into the hallway with my pistol locked and loaded, aiming at the door and shouting that cops are on their way. But this does nothing
Yeah, he's
to
dumb. Yeah, he's so dumb. He should have said. He should just say it quiet and act like he's not in the house. Is he dumb or some shit, bro?
deter whoever's on the other side.
Like,
They
don't be
just keep
surprised if
slamming
something's gonna
against
happen
the
to
front
him.
door, and each time it seems like the door is closer and closer to
Yeah,
just
he's
giving
done.
way.
He's done.
Only when I'm like, I got a 40 here, buddy, don't make me do
I got
it.
40 here,
Does the
buddy. Don't make
banging
me do
stop.
it. That's
And
well,
this
probably
is,
one
like,
of the
perfectly timed to hear approaching
unscariest things I've
silence,
ever
too.
heard.
I then hear more heavy footsteps on the stairs outside, and then all is quiet. A short time later,
Whoa.
I'm giving my statement to the cops that arrive. I have my phone in my hand, and I see a notification come up from the girl that I'm seeing that just says, I'm sorry. I wait until the cops leave to call her to be like, why are you sorry? Is this us breaking up or whatever? And
What?
when she answers, she's in tears. Through her sobbing, she tells me something that makes my jaw drop.
What?
And here's basically a summation of what she said. She's been hooking up with the guy who'd sent me the unwanted picture.
I warned you.
Who had apparently gotten super
warned him.
weird once
We
he was
warned
in our
him.
apartment, telling her she
Your
needed to
girl's a
break up with me
slut!
because he wanted her as his main
Fucking-
partner. He went off about how I wasn't down with polyamory, how I wasn't good for her,
we
blah,
told him.
blah,
We
blah.
told him, bro. We
And when he's
told him.
gotten aggressive about it,
He already
she
got
kicked
warned.
him out and told him not to contact her again.
After what?
This guy is from a city on the other side of the state, and my girl figured that he'd just drive back home. Only he doesn't. And apparently he'd gleaned enough information about me from her, maybe even gone through her phone to get a
So you're telling me that she snitched on him? She literally snitched on him. Wait, what is that hand placement? Whoa.
look at some pictures of me to be
Oh,
able
to
to
take the
actually
phone,
track
to
me
take the
down.
phone. Okay.
And that's when it hits me. It was him in the
she
grocery
told
store
that nigga some.
who had then followed me back to my
She
apartment,
snitched just for
waited
that.
until it was dark, then tried to break in to do God knows what.
God knows what, bro. That nigga was gonna kill you. I mean, what do you mean God knows what? He's gonna kill you for sure. I mean, we don't know what he was gonna do. God only knows what. Yeah, he was gonna kill you for sure. I mean, guy,
Fight me,
big
beat
guy,
me up, kill-
got big glasses, fat. Of course he's gonna kill you. He's gonna choke you, or just like he got a gun. He gotta do something to you.
Only God only knows. Now this polyamory stuff wasn't just making me jealous, it was putting me in actual freaking danger. If that guy
Yeah, I'm
had
glad
only
you're
been
just
a little more
realizing this right
patient,
now.
waited for me to go outside to take the trash out, anything like that, I legit might not be around to type this experience out. And that scared the life out of me, as
Same.
I imagine it would any of you. Me and the girl broke up shortly afterward. It was kind of sad, sure, but the whole
Laughing
experience had totally
emojis.
soured the relationship way beyond any
Laughing
kind of repair.
emojis.
We never talked again after that.
Wait,
but
how do I put some laughing
not before
emojis?
I told her to tell that
Yeah,
creepy
laugh,
SOB
laugh,
that
laugh.
we'd broken up,
Fucking hell, bro.
and I wanted nothing to do with any of that anymore, and to leave me alone.
Yeah,
He'd
exactly.
be going back to his hometown in a wooden box. Now, just hearing or reading the word Discord leaves a bad taste in my mouth, as I know the kind of creeps that are out there, using the internet for far worse.
I mean, what do you think this?
than just some
Okay, Adrian, do
innocent-
you think that Discord is a bad app, or it's like a good app? For me personally, I feel like it depends on what you use it for. Sometimes it might be like a good app for you, or sometimes it's like a bad app. Maybe it's a good app or something. But personally, I feel like it's a good app if you use it for the good stuff. You know, just talking with your friends, chilling, just having fun in general. It's bad? No, it's not bad. I'm telling you. It depends on what you're using it for. It really depends on what you're using it for, bro. If people use it for illegal things, yeah, it is. See, you said it right now. You said people use it. You said it right here. You said people use it for illegal things. So not everybody use it for bad stuff. Some people use it for bad stuff, but the majority of people that's known for it, they use it for good stuff. Just talking with their friends. That, like me, for example, I use Discord because I talk with my friends. That's how I really do Discord.
King
That's
stuff.
why I really use Discord. At the end of the day, it depends. It depends. Also, same thing goes to Telegram.
years-
It depends. If you use Telegram for good stuff, then it's a good app. If you use it for bad stuff, then it's a bad app. It depends on your
ago as
usage.
part of a true scary stories
fourth
server
story.
on Discord. It was a place where people would share their own personal stories of scary or spooky things that happened to them in their lives. And for a while, it was
Yeah, I'm telling you, it depends on what you join. It depends on what type of person you are. If you enter Discord to talk with people, then you're good, you're okay. But if you are, talk with some people, good people and shit, not do some fuck up shit, then you're okay. But if you're doing it for some fucked up stuff, then you're done. Yeah, it depends on your usage.
honestly a lot of fun.
But Discord is not really
Sure, a lot of the
app.
stories sounded made up and
For some
generally
people,
involved
it's bad,
stuff like
but
I saw a shadow
think about it,
figure
not
at the end of
really.
my bed and other stuff that sounded like they were lifted straight out of a bad horror movie. But every so often someone would share a story that didn't have a hint of the supernatural in it, something that was actually believable, and occasionally these stories were genuinely terrifying. I read a lot of seriously spine-chilling stuff on that server, but a lot of it I've forgotten over the years.
Okay.
Probably because although they were creepy, they just weren't disturbing enough to actually stick with me.
Okay.
But there was one story in particular that
I'm sad
I've
to
never
hear that.
forgotten, because it's genuinely made me shudder to read. I hope the user in question doesn't mind if I share their story, and if they happen to read this,
Share
I'd like
it.
to think that they could let me know in the comments and maybe
Ow.
correct anything I got wrong, because I'm telling this from memory. But anyway, here goes.
For memory? The fuck do you mean by for memory? The fuck?
The poster began their story by assuring us that their story
Whoa.
wasn't just some fabrication, and although they were pretty young when it happened, just thinking or writing about it as an adult was a pretty stressful experience.
These are
for them.
young, bro. They at least look like
They
25
went
or
on to explain
24.
that their
They're not
early
young.
years were marred by tragedy. How their dad had died when they were real young from a drug overdose, so they were raised by a single mom living in a small apartment just down the street from their grandma's place.
Okay.
Mom did some dating though, obviously trying to do the right thing and find them a stepdad to give them some kind of father figure in their life. The
Yeah, the
incident
voice
in question-
cracked. Did you hear that? Father figure. That one.
them a
Wait.
stepdad to give them some kind of father figure in their life.
Yeah, father figure.
The
Bro, I
incident
gotta
in
get a
question
wife. I'm not gonna
happened
lie.
while she was out on a date.
What
Usually
happened?
speaking, their grandma would babysit for them anytime mom needed to go do anything that meant she couldn't bring them along. But on the night of her date, the grandma was working, so although it wasn't ideal, 9 or 10-year-old storyteller was left unsupervised in their mom's ground floor apartment. Sounds
9 and 10-year-old? Are these right here, news right here, are supposed to be 9 and 10? Huh?
kind of irresponsible at first, but the storyteller was quick to reassure the members of the server that this was back when Yu-Gi-Oh was popular. As long as they had their cards and a box set of cartoons to keep them occupied, being left alone for like an hour or two certainly wasn't an issue for them. It's not like they were going to wander out of the apartment or get up to any mischief while their precious Yu-Gi-Oh was keeping them busy.
There's no way some 10-year-olds acts like this, bro. That shit is super annoying. Nah, I swear. That's annoying. That's so annoying.
But at some point during the evening, they're sitting there playing with their cards and watching TV when they heard a tapping on the window.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
drama,
they
drama,
lived in the
drama,
ground floor
drama,
apartment.
drama.
So pretty much anyone could have just walked up and started tapping on the glass. No climbing or levitating or any of that stuff was involved, so there was nothing inherently worrying or creepy about someone knocking on the glass. The storyteller then gets up,
Whoa!
walking towards the window before drawing back the curtains,
Whoa!
only to reveal the face of a
Who's
complete
that?
stranger. Not their grandfather, not their uncle,
What?
but a complete and utter stranger.
Who?
Surprised and confused, they back off from the window,
Wait, who's that?
letting the curtains slide back into place before this horrendous
Wait, how did the nigga from the outside slide the curtain? Wait, what?
crash sounds. Broken glass tumbles onto the carpet at the foot of the curtains.
Oh yeah.
Before another smash sends more glittering shards onto the
Oh,
floor
yeah.
in front of them. At that point, they said they just tossed their Yu-Gi-Oh cards onto the floor and bailed, rushing out of the back door of the apartment and over to a neighbor's house.
Dumb fucks. Where are they gonna go? Bro, they're so dumb.
Pounding on the door in a state of abject terror as they looked over their shoulder.
Kill
every
that
so
boy.
often
No,
to
no.
ensure the mysterious
Kill that boy!
predator
Kill that
wasn't
boy!
hot in pursuit. But thankfully,
Wait,
the neighbor
where
answered
are they knocking
the door lets our storyteller in before taking the time to calm them down to get the full story out of them.
Okay.
Naturally, they called the cops immediately, who rushed over since they were given the description of a home invasion in progress. The neighbor then gets in touch with the storyteller's mom to let them know the awful news, who immediately rushes home to comfort their terrified son. Then after that, both the neighbor and storyteller's mom accompanied...
I have a question. What's up with this nigga right here? Characters, they all have bad posters, bro. I swear, like, why?
...them back to the apartment, where the cops are still searching the property and surrounding area for any sign of the attempted intruder.
Does he not know how to draw posters?
The cops approaches the
Also the fucking cops. God damn, bro.
At
Holy
this point,
shit.
He shows her something
Now I'm being
in a
dead
clear
ass.
plastic evidence bag.
It
Mom
is.
stares at it, turns pale,
Ooh, what's
then
that?
kneels down and hugs our storyteller tight, fighting to hold back tears as...
Wait, no way, that's his real height. Wait, what? In bed he looked long. Like, he looked tall. There's no way he's that short.
The neighbor guy...
He looks like an 18-year-old in a 5-year-old body. If you know what I mean.
Like,
I swear.
My God. They both ended up staying at the grandma's place for like a week after, while the window was repaired. And if that seemed like a bizarre amount of time to fix a window, and that something else might be behind them staying away from the apartment for a while, you'd be right in thinking that. Our storyteller had their suspicions for a little while, but they were too young to really understand the implications of what had happened. The kind of danger they'd been in wasn't clear until many years later, when their mom explained to them just what...
When they got older, because there's no way that's them right now, at the moment, the thing.
You see, it wasn't just the window that was being replaced. The entire apartment was being fitted with new, incredibly sturdy locks, CCTV cameras, just about everything short of a panic room, all being paid for by Grandma and Grandpa. The whole family was absolutely terrified, and it was all down to the piece of evidence that the cops showed to the mom that...
What was the evidence? They should not show us the evidence.
In the clear plastic evidence baggie that made her turn ashen and squeeze our storyteller in a big, trembling bear hug. What was in that plastic bag was a photograph. A photograph of a young boy curled up in bed, sleeping soundly. And that boy was our storyteller. The mom told a much older storyteller that the photo couldn't have been taken long before the attempted break-in. Something about the sheets on the bed being fairly new or something. I can't quite remember. Or maybe it was a new haircut storyteller had gotten. But either way, it was some detail in there that made it clear that the attempted intruder had broken into the apartment somehow.
No, what is that build,
a week prior, and taken a photograph of our storyteller while they slept. I can
that's
imagine
the same.
They had done so.
Yo, compare them to each other, bro. They look the same.
Making a little catalog of potential victims, perusing them for hours on end before finally deciding on one they liked the most. I think that's what made my blood run cold back when I read their story. The idea that the intruder had taken this perverse liking to them, one that was strong enough for them to be unable to resist their urges, or whatever kind of sick, twisted
nope, I will not say it until I translate.
Desires had them smashing that window in that evening. The family only felt safe again when they heard the news that the creeper, whose MO was eerily similar to their own experiences, was caught by police and jailed after being extradited to another state. But they kept the whole thing a secret from our storyteller until he was in his late teenage years. There was no more details after that.
Why do you want me to say it?
Conclusion, just that it was something that had
that's
haunted him for
Albanian.
years. I never read anything as horrifying as that on that Discord server. I'm
not gonna lie, bro. This right here is the last one. Is probably one of the worst stories at the entire video. Hey, what is the most scariest thing? What is the most scariest story?